Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. You are not a puppet to your emotions. Emotions are some of the most potent forces you will ever encounter in this life, and they are either your greatest weapon or your biggest weakness. Emotions can drive you towards success, or they can cripple you if you let them. You need to understand one thing right now: they're not the problem. If you don't learn how to control them. The first thing you need to do is acknowledge the power of emotions. They're strong, they're constant, and they can derail your plans if you don't get a grip on them. Emotions are like fire. They can warm your house or burn it to the ground. You have the power to choose how you use them. You can either let them dictate your actions, or you can control them, direct them toward your goals. The choice is yours, but the stakes are high. And here's where you need to step up. Take full responsibility for how you feel. Stop looking outside yourself for the reason you're upset, angry, frustrated, or anxious. I don't care who's done what to you. You decide how you respond to any situation. The moment you blame others, you hand over your power. You're telling the world, I'm weak, I can't control myself well. Guess what? That's not going to make you a champion. You need to own your emotions, good or bad, and you need to be the one who decides what to do with them. Now, how do you control them? First, you need to discipline your mind. Your emotions are just the visible tip of the iceberg. Beneath the surface, your thoughts are driving everything. Change your thoughts, and you'll change your emotions. Control your thoughts, and you'll control your emotional state. If you think like a winner, you'll feel like a winner. Your thoughts have to be intentional, aligned with the vision you're pursuing. The moment you let your thoughts run wild, emotions take over, and you're back in reaction mode. That brings me to a critical point: detachment. You cannot be a slave to every little thing that happens in your day. People will disappoint you, situations will go south, and life will throw curveballs at you. So what? Minders don't get rattled, they stay grounded. When things go wrong, you can't afford to go off the rails emotionally. Step back, detach from the situation, look at it objectively, and then act. That's what separates the amateurs from the pros. Next, listen closely. You must take action. Not just any action, but intentional action. Emotional outbursts, knee-jerk reactions, those won't get you anywhere. Action without thought is just noise. I don't want to see you reacting to every emotional trigger that comes your way. When your emotions rise, that's when you need to act with purpose, not just react. Always ask yourself, what's the next step that gets me closer to my vision? That's how you master your emotions, by directing them toward productive action. And finally, forget about instant gratification. Emotions love the quick hit, the easy fix. But if you're serious about control, you need to choose long-term growth over the temporary high. There's no quick fix to greatness. It's discipline, delayed gratification, and sacrifice. Choose the hard path that takes you to where you want to go, not the easy route that keeps you stuck in mediocrity. So here's the deal: if you want to control your emotions, you need to control your mind. You need to take full responsibility for your emotional state, act with purpose, detach from the chaos, and always choose long-term growth over short-term pleasure. You've got the power inside you. Now step up and use it. Don't let emotions own you. Take charge and make them work for you. It's time to stop living at the mercy of your feelings. Get in control. Now, emotions are not something we can ignore. They are the most powerful primal force within us. They are what drive us, what shape our decisions, and what push us to take action. Every success, every failure, every moment of triumph and defeat, it all begins with emotion. You can't escape it. Whether you like it or not, you are controlled by your emotions until you decide otherwise. And let me be very clear: if you want to achieve greatness, if you want to rise above the mediocrity of everyday life, you have to first acknowledge the power emotions have over you. I think about it: when you're motivated, you can achieve anything. You can break barriers, you can take risks, you can climb the highest mountains, because emotions like passion, excitement, and determination fuel your every move. On the flip side, when you're weighed down by doubt, anger, fear, or sadness, is like trying to run through quicksand. You feel stuck, you feel powerless, and you struggle to make progress. Emotions can either drive you forward or hold you back. The key is learning to use that power instead of letting it control you. Too many people let their emotions rule them, letting frustration dictate their actions, letting fear stop them in their tracks, letting negativity drain them of the energy they need to succeed. It's a cycle that keeps them stuck in the same place year after year. They go through life reacting to every little setback, every little failure, every comment that stings, without ever realizing that the moment they take control of their emotions is the moment they break free from that cycle. The moment you learn to harness the power of your emotions, you will begin to realize that it is not the world that determines your success, it's your response to the world. And that response starts with you, with your emotions, and with your ability to direct that emotional energy toward your goals. When you take control of your emotions, when you learn to use them as fuel, instead of letting them sabotage your progress, something incredible happens. You become unstoppable. You start using your anger as determination, your fear as motivation, your sadness as fuel to rise again. You stop being at the mercy of how you feel in the moment, and instead you take charge of how those emotions will propel you forward. You take what's raw and powerful and turn it into a driving force, a catalyst for action, a source of endless strength. This is not about suppressing your emotions, far from it. Emotions are not a weakness to hide from. They are the power within you waiting to be harnessed. What you need is the ability to recognize when your emotions are controlling you and when you need to take the reins. The moment you can see your anger, your fear, your frustration for what they are, temporary emotional responses, not permanent states of being, is the moment you take back control of your life. You stop being a passive participant and become the architect of your own success. The power of emotions is not in their unpredictability or their intensity, it's in the ability to focus and direct that energy toward your vision. When you acknowledge that power and learn to use it consciously, you unlock your full potential. The strongest people are not those who avoid emotion or suppress it, they're the ones who embrace it, understand it, and use it to fuel their progress. Emotions can either be your downfall or your greatest asset. The choice is yours. So embrace that power, recognize it for what it is, and start channeling it into the life you've always dreamed of. Let me tell you something crucial: no one is responsible for how you feel except you. If you want to take control of your life, your success, your future, this is the first truth you need to embrace. I don't care what someone said to you, I don't care how hard things have been, and I certainly don't care about the external circumstances you've been dealt. At the end of the day, your emotions are your responsibility. That's the key to power. If you let anyone or anything dictate how you feel, you're handing them the keys to your life, and that's not how winners operate. This is where most people go wrong. They blame the world, they blame their circumstances, they blame others for how they feel. They say, I'm upset because of this person, or I'm frustrated because of that situation. But here's the cold, hard truth: you are in control of your emotional state. No one can make you feel anything without your consent. You're the one choosing whether you're angry, sad, or defeated. You're the one giving permission for those emotions to take root and run your life. And let me tell you, this is where the most powerful transformation happens. The moment you take full responsibility for how you feel, you break free from being a slave to external forces. You stop being a victim of your emotions. You stop living life on autopilot, reacting to everything that happens to you. Instead, you start living with purpose, with intention, and with power. When you fully own your emotional state, you take back control. You can't be manipulated by others. You can't be thrown off track by a bad day or a harsh word. You're in the driver's seat, and you're the one steering the car. This isn't about denying your feelings or pretending they don't exist. It's about acknowledging them and then making a decision about what to do next. Are you going to let that frustration consume you? Are you going to let that fear paralyze you, or are you going to rise above it, use it to your advantage, and move forward stronger than before? The choice is yours. And when you take responsibility, when you take ownership of your emotional state, you take full control of your life. So the next time someone tries to push your buttons, remember they don't control you. When life doesn't go your way, remember it's not the situation, it's how you choose to respond to it that matters. You hold the power. If you want to be in charge of your emotions, you must own them, every single one of them. If you don't, you'll always be at the mercy of the world around you. But when you take control of your emotions, you own your destiny. And that's the power you need to make things happen. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have, and yet most people let it run wild. They let their thoughts control them instead of the other way around. If you want to control your emotions, if you want to take command of your life, it starts here with the mind. It's time to stop letting your mind wander aimlessly and start disciplining it to work for you, not against you. A disciplined mind is an unstoppable force, but a scattered, undirected mind is your greatest enemy. I think about it, your mind is where everything begins. Every action, every decision, every emotion you experience starts with a thought. You get frustrated because your mind starts obsessing over a small problem, or you feel anxiety because your mind begins to run through worst-case scenarios. But you know what? You don't have to follow that path. Your mind doesn't control you unless you let it. When you take control of your thoughts, you take control of your emotions. You stop letting negative thoughts spiral out of control. You stop being reactive and start being proactive. You choose what you focus on, and when you focus on the right things, you can turn anything into an opportunity. Disciplining your mind means training it to think in alignment with your goals, your vision, and your purpose. It means shutting out distractions and focusing on what truly matters. It's about clearing away the noise and putting your energy into what's going to move you forward. Most people let their minds wander all over the place, constantly jumping from one thing to the next, never fully committing to anything. They get distracted by emotions, by what's happening around them, and they let all of that determine their state of mind. But you have to rise above it. You need to command your thoughts. You need to build the mental discipline to focus on what will get you closer to where you want to go, and to reject anything that doesn't serve that purpose. When you start disciplining your mind, you start building mental resilience. You don't get easily shaken. You don't get distracted by temporary setbacks or frustrations. You don't let small annoyances throw you off track. You stay grounded, focused, and relentless in your pursuit. The more you train your mind to focus on solutions, to focus on action, to focus on growth, the less power your emotions will have over you. And when emotions do arise, you'll be able to manage them, not by suppressing them, but by seeing them for what they are, temporary and manageable. Your thoughts are what shape your emotional responses, and when you control your thoughts, you control your emotions. Emotional detachment is one of the most powerful tools you can develop, but it's also one of the hardest to master. It's not about becoming numb or indifferent to life's challenges. It's about gaining the strength to rise above them. You see, most people get caught up in the emotional turbulence of every situation. They react impulsively. They let every setback hit them like a wave. They allow every victory to inflate their ego, and in doing so, they lose their ability to stay grounded, to stay focused on what truly matters. But when you practice emotional detachment, you stop being a slave to every little thing that happens to you. You don't let life dictate how you feel. You can't afford to be a roller coaster of emotions, reacting to every success and every failure. You need to learn how to step back, to observe, and then decide how you want to respond. Life will throw punches. People will betray you. Things will go wrong. That's inevitable. But your response, that's in your hands. When you detach emotionally, you stop feeling like every obstacle is a catastrophe. You stop overreacting to challenges. You stop allowing your emotions to dictate your actions. You stay calm, you stay clear, and you make decisions based on your vision, not your feelings. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care so much about your bigger goals that you refuse to let fleeting emotions drag you down. It means you're not ruled by fear when things get tough. It means you don't let anger blind you or allow joy to distract you from what you need to achieve. This is the mindset of a winner. The most successful people are able to remain calm in the face of chaos, to keep a steady hand while others are losing their heads. They understand that emotions are temporary, but their goals are not. When you practice emotional detachment, you gain perspective. You realize that most of the things that trigger strong emotional reactions are small in the grand scheme of things. A lost deal, a failed project, a harsh comment, they're all temporary. The ability to detach allows you to take a step back, assess the situation objectively, and figure out the best way to move forward rather than letting your emotions control the next move. You can't let a bad day, a rude person, or a little bit of stress take you off course. Detachment lets you maintain a sense of control and focus on the long-term outcome, not the short-term emotions. The power of emotional detachment is in your ability to see beyond the moment. Life isn't about reacting to everything that comes your way. It's about taking a breath, stepping back, and making decisions from a place of clarity. When you can detach emotionally, you find that you are no longer at the mercy of your feelings. Instead, you make choices based on logic, purpose, and strategy, not impulse or frustration. You stop being reactive, and instead you become proactive, intentionally shaping your life instead of letting the emotions of the moment dictate it. Mastering emotional detachment is a game changer. It's the difference between being at the mercy of your circumstances and rising above them. It's the difference between reacting to life's challenges and controlling how you respond to them. When you can detach from the chaos, you're no longer a prisoner to your emotions. You have the power to keep moving forward no matter what life throws at you. That's true strength. And once you start practicing emotional detachment, you'll realize that nothing can stand in your way. You cannot afford to be a slave to your emotions. Too many people are simply reacting to life, letting their feelings control them, letting situations dictate their actions. And that's where they lose. It's the difference between being a participant in life and being the master of it. Every time you react, you give up your power, you let the world control your response, and that's a surefire way to stay stuck in the same cycle, always dealing with the same problems, never moving forward. You have to stop reacting and start taking action. When something happens, don't immediately give in to the urge to respond emotionally. Don't let the anger take over or the fear stop you from moving. The strongest, most successful people don't act impulsively. They don't react to the world's chaos. They act with purpose, clarity, and intention. They take a step back, breathe, and decide how to respond in a way that moves them closer to their goals. Reaction is instinct. Action is choice. You have the power to choose what happens next, but that choice starts with pausing, with controlling your emotions, and with taking deliberate, thoughtful steps forward. If you want to be successful, you can't afford to be a victim of your emotions. You can't let fear keep you from taking that bold step or frustration cause you to quit before you've even begun. You need to channel those emotions into something productive. Every emotion, whether it's anger, fear, frustration, or even excitement, has energy behind it. Instead of letting that energy control you, use it to propel you into action. Action is the antidote to complacency. When you take action, you shift the momentum in your favor. You stop being at the mercy of circumstances, and you start shaping those circumstances yourself. This is where most people fail. They feel the pressure of a setback and they immediately react. They lash out in anger, they quit out of frustration, they make impulsive decisions in fear. And the result? More problems, more stress, and more wasted time. But when you step back and refuse to react, when you take a breath and assess the situation with clarity, that's when the real power happens. That's when you make decisions based on your purpose and not on the temporary emotions of the moment. You take action that will move you forward, action that's deliberate, measured, and aligned with your goals. You don't let a bad situation define you. You define how you will respond to it. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is this: winners take action. They make decisions. They push forward even when it's hard, when it's uncomfortable, when it feels easier to quit. They don't get bogged down by emotions. They use those emotions as fuel to keep going. When you take action, you break free from the paralysis that comes with overthinking and emotional turmoil. You regain control of your life and put your focus where it needs to be, on progress, on the next step, on the long-term goal. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. And you don't need to wait for the emotions to subside. You don't need to wait for things to be just right. If you're waiting for the right time, you'll be waiting forever. The time is now. Stop reacting. Stop letting life push you around. Take action, take intentional, calculated action, and let that action push you toward your success. Every small step forward builds momentum. And that momentum will carry you through every emotional storm that comes your way. When you start taking action instead of reacting, you're no longer at the mercy of your emotions. You become the one who defines how things unfold. And that's the power you need to win. So let me leave you with this: your emotions are powerful. There's no denying that. They can be your greatest ally or your biggest enemy, depending on how you choose to handle them. But the one thing that will determine whether you succeed or fail in life is not the emotions themselves, it's how you respond to them. You've got to take responsibility for your emotional state. You've got to discipline your mind. And you've got to detach from the chaos that life throws at you. You've got to stop reacting to the world and start taking deliberate, purposeful action. When you master your emotions, when you make them work for you, when you take full control of your mind and your actions, there is nothing that can stop you. You will rise above every challenge, outlast every obstacle, and achieve greatness. The power has always been within you. Now it's time to unleash it, to take control, and to move forward with unstoppable momentum. This is your life, your journey, your success. Own it.